I am back. Um, Close to why? That's a fine. Hey, um, today marks the second day of tutorial session, and I hope we are all catching up with what we started so far. And today we're going to be looking at something very, very important in Salesforce called user management and Salesforce architecture. Okay, first of all, now today's class is not yet fully, hands-on practical there, but then it is just to familiarize us with other important things that also matters when it comes to Salesforce. Okay, so I believe all these things help you to just gain confidence in understanding your space. Knowing your space, your workspace very well, help you build enough confidence for the job ahead. Okay, so I'm going to be going through some things. Let me make this clear. Okay, when we say user management and Salesforce architecture, this is not a training that helps you become a Salesforce architect. Please, let's be aware of that. So there won't be misconception or misleading anywhere. Okay, so this is basically Salesforce administration course, and so that's it. Let's get down into today's video. Okay, so I said at the end of this class, you should be able to know what an instance and multi-tenancy is, what is a sandbox and its type, how to add a new user, what the license is, and be getting assignment. Yeah, today be your first. I am going to be getting your first assignment today, and please let me emphasize this. Whatever task, whatever assignment that is being done, please follow through. Make sure you do it. Make sure you get it done. Very, very important. Very, very, very important. Make sure you get it done. And eventually, we're going to go into our hub that is on our Salesforce platform and work on it. If you can find a way to practice as you are learning, I mean, you don't necessarily have to, pile up the knowledge. When you watch, do this a recorded session. You can easily pause it, practice it, do it, continue. Don't just assume you're going to put everything all together and after the whole class I'm not going to start practicing. No, it doesn't work that way. Many a times there will be gap in the knowledge here. So make sure you practice along, and whatever task and assignment, I am begging you, make sure you do it, because it is in that you build capacity, it is in that you build strength, and you are much more grounded and rooted in this whole thing. Okay, so moving on, yeah. We said we're going to be looking at instance tenancy, what sandbox is and its various types, how to add a new user, what the license is, and definitely if you're given some assignment. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead. I should mention this also. The cloud helps many things to run smoothly in the hub. What I mean by that, let's get into this instance then. You understand what I mean? Now, instance and tenants. Let me clear out this. That's fine. All right. So now, what do we mean by instance? What do we mean by tenant? Let me give you an instance. Let's say, maybe I'm going to be doing some drawings here, illustrations to show what you really want to do. Okay. So let's say, let's type that. I want to use it. So assume we have a mall, right? We all know what a mall is, right? Let's say this is one mall at Lekki, right? And this is another one at Bagada, right? let me just. All right. Hold it. Thank you. So now I'm going to repeat this for this here. This one, let's call this Bagada. So now let's assume these malls are ShopRite. Okay. Let's assume they are ShopRite. Now in this ShopRite or in this mall, you are going to have different other stores, isn't it? Various stores. You can have Adidas, you can have Puma, you can have Pep, you can have Lego. So let's uh, give that another name. So let's say we have other ones. At the same time, we have the same here. Okay. So let's call this level. Let's call this what should we call this? Let's call this minus. Okay. Let's call this um I'm going somewhere. Just try to follow through, okay? Let's call this old school. Okay? Let's call it not that. Okay. All right. So we can speak again. Okay, good. Let's say in Lekki Mall, you have all of this. Now let's assume that you also have Puma here. Or let's say you have Boston in this one too. But here you don't have Domino's. Let's say you have Lego. Let's say here you have Lego. So let's assume instead of these Domino's, you have another store here. Okay, called what can I call it? Let's just say game. Okay, okay, yeah. So let's say you have game here. Now, do you know that as much as you have all of these this way, there are some things that all of these are going to be shared. Okay? Some of all these things, some of all these stores are going to have some shared facility like electricity, um, water, security, just because they are paying to ShopRite. Definitely, they are going to have all those things. Okay. Now, let's now bring it into Salesforce. This mall, we call it an instance. Okay. Now, all these stores in this place now are like neighbors. You know, if you go to the mall, you can easily see that okay, this one is side this one is this direct neighbor to this. But in Salesforce, you are not going to see you cannot view your neighbor is. So that mall is called instance, and the process of all of them existing together is called multi-tenancy. You have to put all these terms of your head, but just do them for for the purpose of knowledge. You understand all of them. So all of these are called this process is called multi-tenancy. So and as such, you can also get to know what your um all instance is because every instance has a name. Okay. Sort of Salesforce is just very clear. I just wanted to pay very close attention. Every instance has a name. So you can definitely check what the name of your instance is. And there is a reason why you should know what the name of your instance is. Okay. So let me go to my org now to show you something. All right. So remember this is the user name. I told you that before you can do anything, you have to go to the admin hand, more like the super user hand. Okay. Remember I said you come to this gear icon, click on it and go to setup, right? So here we have page. Okay. So you're gonna search for company information. If you have this. Okay, why is that taking time? Alright, so I haven't done that. Okay, look at it here. Can you see at this right hand corner? Instance. The name of our instance in this case is SW126. Now, that is the name of our instance here. Now, the essence of getting to, like I said, there's a reason why you have to know how to take all these details. Now, take for instance, for one reason or the other, your org is malfunctioned. But if you know whether if it is something that is from your own hand as the admin or it's something from the platform that is from Salesforce itself. Now, you take this now and do a search for um, Salesforce Trust Status. You have this. Okay. So now, that instance, the main POD, these are our instance, right? Remember, SW126, right? This is my instance. So I'm gonna just enter that here. I'm gonna click on search. Now, this shows that at the moment everything is okay. Everything is intact. There's no issue, right? Now, look at this core service. This is what really captures what we really work on. Then like search bar, analytics, those that check for analytics and all of that. But at the moment, the bug is working fine. Now, let's assume someone comes to you like, so time I've been trying to access my account and I'm having trouble. So for you to know if it is a Salesforce thing, or you can easily come here. You can also check through history. And check through history. So this smooth green line shows that everything has been smooth so far for quite some data. So let's go back to the opportunity to see something. Oh, okay, good. Look at this now. Now, this shows that from this period to this period, probably the hog was down or it's very slow. That they were doing a maintenance. As you can see, it is on core service, right? You have to check the maintenance to know what the maintenance plan is, or if they've done any maintenance lately. See, at the moment, past 30 days, nothing. February 8th, cancelled. So this one eventually did this, they didn't do this. So that is basically what um instance and multi-tenancy is. Instance is where your org runs on Salesforce. And the fact that many organizations can come together and coexist in one same cloud is called multi-tenancy. All right. So I already talked about it. How to know your instance is and how Salesforce manages danger when there is issue with your. Now, take for instance, if you now check, if you check your instance or your company information, realize that there is an issue, maintenance like this, what can you do? Absolutely nothing. So all you just need to do is just go to your maintenance and know the duration period when that particular maintenance will be done and just try to maneuver, because really there's nothing. At most, probably you raise a ticket, you send a complaint, but then before you send that complaint, you already know there's an issue, you already know there's a complaint in that time. So that's that. So the next thing we have here is Sandbox. Let's also take another example. Okay. Imagine you having or just getting a new house. Let's call it a new house. Yeah. And for one reason or the other, you have course to want to do some corrections or renovations on this on your house. You know, it will be difficult to do all those modifications while you are in there. Okay, removing the roof, painting this, cementing here. It will make everything difficult. Now, what Salesforce does to make it easy for, let's say, in this scenario of ours, let's say the agent now comes to you and says, all right, I'm going to create a prototype of your present house, a copy of it, and do the renovation on it. Okay, let's call this work in progress, WIP. Okay, so now I'm going to create a prototype of what you presently have and do all the modifications that you need on it. Then once it is done, you just give us like 5 to 30 minutes to excuse the house while we just return back everything. While we return back everything, all the modifications we've done to your new house, then everything automatically come in there. That's the typical scenario of our sandbox is now. In this instance, we are going to have your new house as your production. Where you actually get to work is called production of production. While this place, this prototype, where the modification is being done is called sandbox. Okay, now careful, careful here, so don't mix it up. Sandbox is just like, it's not really a dummy account, but it's a way at which you can copy or create a replica of your present production org, make corrections, adjustment, upgrade, update, everything you need to do, and copy it back. Because Salesforce is very delicate. If you make mistake, you can actually ruin the whole org. That's why it is a very, very good practice to always work or do your upgrade and updates on your sandbox before you migrate it into the production. Exactly. You do, it is a very, very good practice. Now you might come across some managers that could be, pushy, and they just make you realize that, don't you know your job? Don't you know your work, but it is just the right practice for you to do your update. Because if you corrupt your production code, where do you get a replica? But if your sandbox is get messed up, if you get things messed up in your sandbox, you can easily update it back again, and it gives you what the production org looks like at the moment while you do the modification. That's basically what sandbox is. Sandbox is a place or where you can do your modifications before, just like a rough, I don't want to call it a rough book or something like that. You can do your adjustment and everything and make it test run, do whatever you want to do and make sure it works the way you want it to work before you move it into your production. Basically, that's what sandbox entails. Okay. Now, I have a question here. How often can you refresh your sandbox? Okay. I think that's what's going to get us to the next. Okay, yeah. How often can a sandbox be refreshed? Okay. That's going to take us to types of sandbox. Okay. Now, basically, there are four main types of sandbox. You have the full sandbox, the partial sandbox, developer sandbox, and developer group. Okay. So now, from the name, you can actually tell what it actually entails. A full sandbox gives you 100% copy of your production. Okay. Let me wait here, like equals to 100%. Your partial sandbox gives you 5 gig, 5 gig worth. You can make it up in 5 gig worth of data. Right? Good developer and developer pro gives you access to 1 gig volume of data. And your full sandbox can only refresh it after every 29 days. So it's not what you can do today, do tomorrow. No. We are using the full sandbox, or if you have the license for a full sandbox, and still the top bar license. When you're using the full sandbox, you can only refresh it after 14 days, after 29 days, that is on the 30th day, after 29 days, okay, before you can actually refresh. Yes. One partial sandbox that gives you access to 5, you can refresh it after 5 days. Right. Now, a question comes like, you can ask me a question like, what if I have to want to do another upgrade or update before the next 29 days? Actually, it's rare for you to find reasons for you to want to do that. And even if at all it is very necessary, you do some update or upgrade, and that's 29 days, because this source will not permit you, you'll not be able to refresh it. So if you necessarily need to, okay, you can easily enter the data on your manually on your sandbox, check out what to look like before you now try to send it. You can always send, but you cannot refresh it to copy the org, the production org. I hope that's clear. You can always manually impute whatever you need to if that duration is not completed. And once you confirm what you want, you can migrate it back to your production. But it is on very, very rare cases before you find it. Because many a times you would have compiled every update, upgrade necessary that you want to do against that opening. After the 29th day or after on the 30th day, you can do that. And if you don't have post to need to do any upgrade, even after 30 days, you just know that that sandbox is already open, ready for use, ready for you to upgrade. Okay, so basically that's what sandbox is. And in coming future, we are really going to go. This is just a surface overview of all of this. In future class, we are going to go in depth of using sandbox and all of this. Okay, so the last part of this section will be user license and interface. Then, okay, user license and profile. I think that's the story. User license and profile. Probably you must have heard me mention things like user, mention license, profile. Now, what does it really mean? User is very easy and direct. The person that a particular org handed over to, or that is in charge of a particular org. That's what user means. Your license gives you the rights to the features or features available on Salesforce. While profile deals with settings and restrictions, because as much as you can have a license to it, your profile might not permit you to view some things, some records from some authorizations, depending on the level. So now that's where profile setting. For instance, we are going to create a user very soon. So you see what I'm trying to say. The same set of things a CEO will see will not be the same a marketing person will have access to, right? The CEO will have access to possibly all of the profiles, that is the marketing, the sales, the service department, they are everywhere. But the sales, for instance, a sales rep will not have access to things that doesn't pertain to his own unit or section. So that's where profile comes in. So your profile controls the settings and limitations, restrictions, the kind of information you can have access to. For your license, is just like give you the features to Salesforce and its environment. The user is the owner of the license. Okay. Now, one very important thing to note is it is never a good photo to delete a user. You can only swap it or freeze it. Because now many a times users are already particular to certain records, objects. We're going to get there in our next class. We're going to talk about all of those things. So if you delete it, if you delete the user, it will corrupt many other files or many other programs or automation processes that you've set in line. You're going to get everything we are going to. Honestly, I'm saying in the next class now. So let me go ahead and create a user now so you see. You get what I'm talking about. So let's go to, this is my hub. So this is my backend, right? So let me search for user. User. Okay. Okay. So these are all the users we have here. So we click on new user. Take note of one thing. Wherever you see black here, red, wherever you see red, all these red spaces, it means necessary. You have to necessarily fill them. While some of it could be auto filled based on certain settings that has been in place, but all these red parts must be filled. If it's not being filled, nothing can be created. Okay. So now let's assume this is, let's say, um, guitar. Uh, let's call this last name 4. Now 4. So we'll call this 4, right? Sorry, I missed this earlier. This is the concept 4. Theta 4. Alright. Observe something. The moment I'm clicking outside, this alias is coming up and it's generating it from the first name and last name. So email, let me use on email. Let me see which email should I just put in one of my email. Okay, let me just enter something. Okay, so I didn't know my email. Can you see this username now always appear in email format? I think it's just a way to make your life easy or make our life easy, so we don't get to rank out what I want to get that. So you feel that. So now roll. Now this is the space for profile. Okay. Now if I call this person CEO, at the long run I'm going to take it. Just watch. Identity. Let's put it on Salesforce platform. Right? Then profile. Standard profile. Because this is a developer hub, if it is a live org, other profiles that you've created are going to come and you'll be able to select profile. So profile for this session, profile for HSC, profile for the production, profile for the maintenance team, profile for, if you understand, sales, marketing, and all of that. If you understand, so that's what the profile you've created are going to come up here and you're going to select for that particular user. So let's go whatever is okay. This is auto filled. Can you see all of this has been auto filled, right? You'll click save. I think my mail is very new here. Let me use another mail. Let's see that. So let's save. We have any other error? Just that. Okay. So go ahead and save. Can you see we've created that user? So basically that is what user license and profile entails. Okay. So for your assignment, in the next slide, you're going to be getting what you're going to search for. Just make sure you do it. It is just for your own. Just make sure you do it. No one is watching you. This is self-learning. Then just make sure you try to do it. And in the coming class, we are going to be going fully into our org to start getting our hands dirty with Salesforce and operations. Okay? So until then, see you next class.